Welcome to today's lesson on the structure and function of the nervous system. In our lesson today, we will examine how the nervous system is structured to efficiently perform its functions. We will follow the journey of information in the nervous system, starting from the moment a stimulus is detected by a receptor and ending when an effector produces a response. So far, you have learned about the concept of homeostasis, which is the body's way of maintaining a stable internal environment despite changes in external conditions. This foundational knowledge is crucial because the nervous system plays a key role in detecting changes and coordinating responses to maintain homeostasis. Understanding the structure and function of the nervous system and the pathway of information from receptors to effectors advances our biological understanding by revealing how our bodies interpret and respond to the world around us. This insight is essential for appreciating how we sense, move, and react efficiently to keep our internal environment stable. To understand the nervous system, we need to look at the journey information takes from detecting a stimulus to creating a response. Let's start by looking at the role of receptors in detection. The process begins with receptor cells detecting a stimulus. Receptors are specialized cells that can detect changes in the environment. They share common features with other animal cells, having a nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. However, there are different types of receptors depending on what they detect. Taste receptors are found on your tongue, and these cells help you detect different tastes. Pressure receptors are located in your skin, allowing you to sense touch and pressure. Light receptors are present in the retina of your eye, and these cells enable you to see by detecting light. Receptors can be grouped together to form specialized sense organs, like the eyes and ears. Once a receptor detects a stimulus, it sends this information as an electrical impulse. This impulse travels through cells called sensory neurons. Sensory neurons are bundled together in structures known as nerves. These impulses make their way to the central nervous system, also known as the CNS. The central nervous system, comprising the brain and the spinal cord, acts as the coordinator. When sensory neurons bring information to the CNS, it processes this data to determine the appropriate response. The CNS then sends out new impulses to carry instructions to other parts of the body. The CNS sends these instructions via motor neurons, which are cells that carry impulses from the CNS to effectors in your body. Effectors are either muscles or glands. Muscles contract in response to electrical impulses. For example, if you touch something hot, the muscles in your arm contract to pull your hand away. On the other hand, glands respond by releasing chemicals. For example, when you smell food, your salivary glands produce saliva. The action of the nervous system can be broken down into a sequence of events. We have the stimulus, which is a change detected by a receptor. These receptors are specialized cells that detect stimuli. The CNS then acts as a coordinator and processes the information, and then effectors, which are muscles or glands, carry out the response. The response is the action taken by the effector, such as muscle contraction or chemical release. By understanding this sequence, we can appreciate how the nervous system allows us to rapidly react and coordinate our behaviors in response to our environment. This pathway ensures that our bodies function efficiently and stay in harmony with our surroundings. Let's go through a question to help you understand how the nervous system structure is adapted to its function, as well as the pathway from receptor to effector. If you touch a hot object, describe the pathway of information from the receptor that detects the heat to the effector that causes your hand to move away. Pause here to have a go. Now, let's go through the answer. Following our pathway, firstly, the receptors in your skin detect the heat, which is the stimulus, and generate a nerve impulse. Second, this impulse travels along a sensory neuron to the spinal cord. Third, in the spinal cord, the impulse is transferred to a relay neuron, if necessary, and then to a motor neuron. Fourth, the motor neuron then carries the impulse to the effector, which in this case are the muscles in your hand. Lastly, the muscles contract to move your hand away from the hot object. This is the response. Before we wrap up, let's explore some historical insights into the nervous system.
I am Santiago Ramón y Cajal, known as the father of modern neuroscience, and in the 19th century my research led to groundbreaking discoveries. Using a staining technique developed by Camille Golgi, I observed individual neurons under the microscope. Contrary to the belief that neurons form a continuous network, I proposed that they were individual cells that communicated with each other. This idea, known as the neuron doctrine, transformed neuroscience. In 1906, I shared the Nobel Prize with Golgi, despite our differing views on how neurons are structured.
In today's lesson, we examine the structure and function of the nervous system, emphasizing how its components are adapted to their roles. We examine the pathway of information in the nervous system from stimulus to response. The sequence begins at receptors, which detect changes in the environment, stimuli. The sensory neurons then transmit this information to the CNS where it is processed. Finally, motor neurons carry the instructions from the CNS to effectors, which generate a response, such as muscle contraction or hormone release. This understanding of the nervous system's structure-function relationship is fundamental for grasping how our bodies respond to our environment efficiently.